what's up, my friends? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kristin, and I am so glad that we found each other. Today's yoga practice is for daylight savings time. So if you're watching this video when it actually first publishes, then you may or may not be aware that daylight savings time is coming up this weekend, where we will be springing forward and losing that hour of sleep. Although we have longer evenings to look forward to, which is really nice. But I wanted to offer this class because along with daylight savings time and just springtime in general, changing of seasons, it's a lot going on, and all of these changes can really affect our mood, our energy level, our circadian rhythm. And so it's really just a nice time to stay mindful of how you're feeling in your body and in your mind, and also just to stay grounded in your own body. And so that's what we're really going to focus on in our practice today. If you have yoga blocks at home, go ahead and grab a couple just to have handy. You may or may not decide that you want to use them. And if you don't have blocks, never fear, definitely not a deal breaker. You can do the practice without blocks as well. So just have those handy, one to each side of your mat. And we're actually going to start standing in mountain pose, Tadasana. So I want you to, I'm going to face you as we start, but you can just step up towards the top of your mat, bring your feet about hips width distance, and just take a moment here to kind of rock side to side, front to back. Maybe make some circles with your body and just start to really feel the ground beneath your feet. And sort of work your way towards your center. So whenever you're ready, finding some stillness here and allowing yourself to really ground down deep into the earth, imagining that you could literally grow roots just like a tree down into the soil beneath you. Arms are just going to hang down by the sides nice and heavy. Shoulders relaxed. You can lengthen up through the crown of your head. And maybe as we begin here, you close down your eyes if that feels safe. And we'll just take a moment to sort of gather up the breath and let that breath really bring us into the present moment. So taking a deep breath in and just knowing that you're breathing in, maybe feeling the rise of that inhale, noticing the sensation. And then taking a breath out, knowing that you're breathing out, maybe noticing the fall kind of sensation or the contraction of that exhale. And then we'll just take a few more breaths, inhaling, and imagine that you could really grow your spine nice and tall, reaching the crown of your head up towards the heavens. But with each exhale, continuing to really press down through the soles of the feet and anchor down into the earth. So getting that nice grounded, rooted, stable feeling here as you stand in your Tadasana. Let's take one more round of breath, inhaling in. And then exhale it out. Beautiful. Now if your eyes are closed, gently flutter them open. With your next inhale, you're going to turn your palms to face forward and then just take a nice big full body stretch here. So reaching the arms up above you, sparking up through the fingertips. And as you exhale, soften nice and deeply into your knees and just start to fold forward over your legs, coming into ragdoll pose. And so now you're taking your head a little bit closer to the earth. You're going to continue to really root down through the feet. You're welcome to add in a little movement here. You can sway side to side if that feels good. You could even bind your arms, taking hold of your elbows or your shoulders if that feels good. So just finding something that works for you. Totally dropping your head here, releasing any tension through the neck. Hi, Kira, my little helper. All right, so really just letting your body hang heavy. And so as you're folded into yourself, I want you to take a moment just to check in, notice, taking inventory of how you're feeling today, physically, mentally, emotionally, without judgment, right? So whatever shows itself is okay. Breathe into it. Good. Good. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath here. Nice deep inhales. Nice deep exhales. One more time. Breathing in, feeling long through the spine. Exhale it out. Feet are heavy. Head is heavy. Nice. Now from here, we're going to bend into the knees, and you can bend as deeply as you need to plant your palms flat. Make sure all your fingers are spreading wide here, and we'll just step back into a downward facing dog. And so right away, and you can start to move here if that would feel good in your body, just kind of finding some free movement. But right away, I want you to now notice not just the earth beneath your feet, but also beneath your hands. Like really feel it beneath the palms. Get a sense for what that feels like. Maybe you pedal out your feet here. Continue to let your head drop towards the earth. Grounding down into that earth energy, even if we're kind of moving the body here, getting those wiggles out, shifting around any stagnant energy. And then let yourself, just for a couple breaths, be really still in your downward facing dog. So pressing the ground away as you lift your hips high, head is totally relaxed. Driving the chest back towards the thighs, heels are pressing down towards the ground. Maybe they come all the way down to the mat. Maybe they don't, it doesn't really matter. You're just kind of looking for that downward movement of energy. And then on your next breath in, you're going to step your right foot just about halfway up the mat. So halfway between your feet and where your hands are. And take it so it's kind of behind your right hand. Now, this is where those blocks might come in handy if you do have them. So feel free to grab those. You're going to start to straighten out through your right leg and then turn your left heel down and in so that that left foot is out on a 45-degree angle. Pyramid pose, and we'll find a little bit of movement here before we really settle in for some stillness. So I want you to take a breath in, and if you don't have blocks, maybe hands are to the ground, or maybe you just lift up slightly and bring hands to shins or even hands to thigh. But as you breathe in, I want you to lift your chest, reach your sternum towards the top of your mat, and then at the same time, energetically draw your right hip back towards the back of your mat. So as you exhale, you're gonna fold back down. That's my other fur baby. That would be Chloe. She may make an appearance here in a minute. She's always getting into some mischief. Good, now let's do that again. Inhale to lift, reach your chest forward, draw that right hip back. So finding lots of length here, and then as you exhale, going for the depth, melting down over that front leg. One more like that, and then we'll hold for a couple breaths. Inhaling to lift and lengthen. And then exhaling and just letting it go. You can drop your head, release tension through the neck. Let it hang heavy. So again, really in this sort of grounded position. Our feet are connected to the earth. We're folded over ourselves so we can be really internal. Notice what's going on in the moment. The head is dropping towards the earth. And we're just being here in our breath. Take one more round of breath. Inhale. And exhale. Let it go. Good. From here, lose the blocks for now if you have them. You're going to bend into your right knee. Take your hands back out in front of you, and we're just coming back to downward facing dog. Now, it might feel good to take that right leg up to the sky and literally just give it a shake out. Find any kind of counter movement that would feel good after that deep stretch. And then set that right foot down to meet the left, and we will just go right to side two. So the left foot comes up just about halfway up the mat, and it'll come behind the left hand. So it's out kind of wide. Right heel turns down and in, left leg goes straight. Blocks if you have them and want them. And then right toes turn out to a 45. As you breathe in, I want you to lift your chest, lengthen it forward. This time draw that left hip back. Good, so just getting some more length, not just through the spine, but through the back of the left leg. Folding down as you breathe out. 2 more times, inhaling to lift and lengthen. And exhaling, deepening into that fold. 1 more, breathing in. And breathing out. Drop your head, let it go. Release any tension in the jaw and in the forehead. Folding down into yourself, rooting down through your feet. And letting your body just find the sense of almost like a heaviness as you melt towards the earth. A couple more breaths here. Breathing in, again, just knowing that you're breathing in, feeling that breath, maybe hearing the breath. Breathing out. 1 more time. Inhale here. Exhale. And then if you have the blocks, set them off to the side. We're going to come back into that downward facing dog. 1 more time. And again, it might feel good to kick out or stretch out that left leg, just finding a little bit of counter motion. And then take it back to the ground for your downward facing dog. From here, go ahead and set your knees down on the ground. Come into tabletop. Make sure all your fingers are still spreading wide. We want to be aware of the wrists, a little soft bend in the elbows. Press down through your palms, anchor down through your first knuckles, and then press down also through the tops of your feet. And we'll flow through a few rounds of cat-cow. With your in-breath, belly drops down towards the mat. Heart lifts as the shoulders draw back, arching the back, look up. With your out-breath, rounding your spine, tucking your chin into your chest, really broadening between the shoulder blades here. 2 more times, inhaling here, lifting the heart, and then exhaling to round. 1 more time, breathing in. Good, breathing out. And then bringing your spine back to neutral. You're gonna bring your big toes to touch. Take your knees a lot wider than your hips now, and we'll move into an extended child's pose. So pressing the heels back towards, or the hips back towards the heels. Arms stretch way out in front of you, forehead to the mat. And if the mat feels like it's way too far away for that, you can always grab your block if you have it and place your forehead on your block. And we'll just take a couple rounds of breath here, grounding down through the hips, relaxing through the shoulders, relaxing through the elbows, just being in the shape with your breath. If you have your head on the ground, you may notice if your heart is slightly lifted and elevated up over the head. You may be in sort of a very mild or subtle inversion, which also has a really nice calming effect on the nervous system. Alrighty, so from here, start to bring yourself up and out of child's pose. I want you to rock over onto a seat. Kind of scoot your booty up towards the middle of your mat. Stretch your legs out long, and we're gonna ease down onto the back, moving into a full body stretch. So legs go long, arms are gonna reach back behind you. I just want you to find lots of length from the toes to the fingertips. And then pick up your arms and your head and just kind of slide them over to the right. And we're gonna do the same thing with our legs. Slide them over to the right. Left hip stays rooted down. This one is banana pose. Your body is literally in the shape of a banana, or you could think crescent moon. So nice side body stretch for that left side. At the same time, we're still really grounded and connected to the earth. Option 2, cross your left ankle over your right ankle if you want a little bit more sensation. And then you could also wrap your right fingers around your left wrist and give yourself a really gentle tug further over to the right. And then your only job now is just to take a breath in, take a breath out. Beautiful. We're going to switch that out. Come through center. Pick up your head and arms, slide them over to the left. Same with the legs, just kind of walking the feet over. Right hip stays rooted. Side body stretch for that right side. Hopefully this feels really good. Option to cross your right ankle over your left. Option to wrap your left hand around the right wrist and pull yourself further to the left. And then, the only non-optional, we breathe, right? Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Awesome job. Bring yourself back to center. Take one more really big breath in here. Lengthen out as much as you can. And then as you exhale, I want you to surrender into corpse pose and feel free to take up lots and lots of space. Right? So I feel like so often we try to stay in the four corners of the mat, like stay inside that box. But there's no rule that says we have to do that, right? There's no right or wrong in yoga. So feel free to take up space. I do encourage you to take the traditional Shavasana pose because we're really connected to the earth, lots of parts of the body. You could also flip over and do this in a prone position on your stomach. So like an upside down Shavasana. And you're welcome to close down your eyes again and just like we started, kind of take a moment to check in, take inventory, allowing yourself this moment to just be still so that you can notice. You can give your body and your mind a chance to relax. And give yourself the opportunity to rest. So I always encourage you to take Shavasana for sure at the end of class. You could also come up into a meditative seat and stay there. But if you have the time, please stay for a few minutes and just really savor this part of your day where you're not really doing anything, right? We don't get that opportunity much. And so especially if you really are doing this around daylight savings time, just giving yourself a chance to kind of reclaim some of the time that you lost. And I will just leave you with that. So thank you so much for showing up with me today, for grounding down, for getting centered, and most importantly, for taking care of you. So I will see you next time. Know that the light and the love in me sees and honors the light and the love in you. Namaste.